Have you ever had a customer or a coworker or a friend or a family member give you blah, 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 unsolicited feedback? And especially in relation to something that they haven't done themselves. Well, in this video, I'm sharing 3 tips on how you can be brave and kind in the face of that awkward situation where you're getting unsolicited feedback or criticism when you're about to start something new or put yourself back out there in life or in business, and it's coming from someone within your circle. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Belle Lockerbie. I am a mum of 4, a speaker, a best-selling author, and a transformation coach. And I'm on a mission to really help women be brave and step up, and start up or start over in business and in life. So by you hitting that like and subscribe button just down below, it will actually help me to reach more women who are looking for ways to be brave and courageous and really use their skills and their story to reach more people and have the impact that they want to have in life. So right now in my community, small business owners are actually copying a lot of feedback from their customers around how they should run their business. And maybe you have seen this. It's actually to do with the mandates that are being put out by government. And a lot of customers are really taking a strong stance and telling business owners, whether they are clients of mine or they're cafes that I love to go and visit, about how they should run their business. Yes, you want to listen to your customers, but there begs a couple of questions on what do you actually listen to? Now, I'm sure we can all relate to that experience of receiving feedback or criticism on a dream or an idea that we have from that friend or that family member who's actually never done what you were setting out to do. If you have experienced that, like I have multiple times, it can leave you feeling deflated, like you've wasted your time on your dream and your vision, can leave you feeling fearful. Sometimes it can actually stop you from using your gifts and living in alignment with who you are. It can stop you from really being your true self and achieving your purpose. So in my 20s, when I was living in Queensland, I used to get quite fiery on the inside, and I'm sure my cheeks would start to go a little bit red when I was told that I would never make it. Either I would never make it into university, I would never make it overseas to see Paris, I would just basically fail at anything I was setting out to achieve. And in my 30s, when I became a coach, helping mums get better work-life balances and negotiate better deals for themselves, I was told the same thing, that my side hustle would fail. I would hear things like, no one's going to buy that. Who's going to want to work with you? No one would ever pay for that. But as I've gained a little wisdom, I've actually learned that their feedback or criticism was actually a way of projecting their own concerns on things. I wanted to share how to deal with that criticism in a kind and easy way, and I want to give you 3 tips that will actually help you to navigate it when you find yourself in the line of fire dealing with unsolicited feedback. So number 1 is understanding their intention. Now, if you're giving an update to your friend or family member on what you're up to, they may be seeing that as an invitation to give you some feedback, even though you haven't asked for it. And their intention may be to actually help you or to identify some risks. So that's the first thing, is to really understand their intention. Is it that they're coming from a place of love and they're wanting to keep you safe? And that might mean that what they have experienced in their lifetime, they may be projecting onto you. So whether they saw people go through business losses and they don't want you to go through the same things, they may guard you against starting a business and encourage you to take on a more traditional 9-to-5 job. Whatever it is, understanding their intention can really help, whether it's coming from their fear and they're trying to protect you, or whether they are looking to try and help you with what they have seen on the internet. So that's number 1, is really understanding their intention and trying to look for the good in the situation. Now, number 2 is really listening in and thinking about, do they have authority? So is the feedback that they're giving me, is there any value in it? Or have they actually lived your life before? Have they been through your circumstance? Have they done what you are setting out to do? Looking at their authority can be really important. Now, if you're at the other end of the life experience scale, or you're moving beyond the 40s, Being conscious of the insights that you get from younger people is also really important so that we're not discounting them, because there is benefit in fresh eyes. So, really listen out for that as well. They're being courageous in speaking up to someone who they see as potentially older and wiser, and they're bringing some fresh perspectives to something that maybe you hadn't considered. So, think about whereabouts their authority may be, even if it's the authority to share a new way of doing things. So, number three is keeping yourself empowered. It's important to own how you respond and if you're choosing to respond or how you want to steer this conversation. So take time to consider if there's any merit in what they're saying and what would happen if you choose to implement their suggestions. So even if their suggestion is to not do it, how will that leave you feeling? If you choose not to implement their suggestions, what's the impact of that? So really starting to understand what they've said and whether you want to take it on board. Now, if they're sprouting what they've seen with somebody else, then you may need to set some firm boundaries with them to say, thank you so much. I'll actually check them out. When I was talking to you about this, I actually wasn't looking for your feedback or your critique on it. I was just giving you an update. I have a coach who's experienced in this area. Always try and be kind as you're doing this, though, because I'm sure that deep down they're wanting to help you and want to see you succeed. Now, if you need some help in how to structure those conversations, you can find some scripts inside the Behaving Bravely program, and you can also just get the smaller version, which is around having those courageous conversations. The other thing to ask yourself is, does it align with your core values and your goals? So, in the instance of the customers who are giving this feedback and basically putting some thought into the cafe owners, they're hearing things like you should not be operating, or you should, you shouldn't have sit down. That's the only way that you can be united. But if those cafe owners have goals and responsibilities with their livelihood and the staff that they're employing, then considering that is probably not an option for them. It doesn't mean that they don't care, but they do need to do the right thing, and they're following government guidelines. So taking advice from someone who has never run a business before and who doesn't really understand the impacts of breaching government guidelines or the impact to bottom lines and hasn't really considered that, there's probably a point where you want to say, we hear you, we understand your concerns, and we'll post some so you can always direct them to your response, and just leave it at that. So remembering that you own your choices, because just because you've heard something doesn't mean you have to implement. Choose what to use for yourself as you move forward. In next week's video, I'm going to be talking about the other type of criticism, which is that inner critic who lives inside our head and can be a little bit harder to escape. I'll be sharing how to handle that and how to deal with them in a way that will really help you move forward with your goals for business and life. I'm about progress, not about perfection. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and there are some notes below in the description of this video to help you if you need further support. My name's Belle Lockerbie, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.